And here's Robin. She's making it in. Come on in, Robin. Come on, make your way. It's great to have you. Come on. You know, we were commenting that, you know, you try to make it through the mobs and the traffic here, and it's crazy. You know, welcome back. It's glad to have you on the show again.
It's wonderful to be here. How you been?
It is great to have you. You know what? And now you're getting to be live on Periscope here with our, you know, Twitter feed here, and it's wonderful.
I know you guys have gone into the new,
You know, everybody, they want to see it. They don't want to just hear it now. You know, you've been doing this a long time, you know.
It's amazing how many people tune in from all over the world. I mean, so I think it's so great that we can do this now.
I was doing a shout out that my niece and her husband, he's in the military, and she actually was kind of doing all of this, and everybody's kind of tuning in, and everybody's talking about what's going on, and they're in Rome actually in the military, and so you can see them watching anytime. So it's kind of fun that we even get the military people.
Oh yeah, we did a digital money show yesterday about the new cryptocurrency, blockchain, Bitcoin. We did Facebook Live, and it was incredible. People from Estonia, Latvia,
Talk right in that mic.
Estonia, Latvia, Russia. I mean, you name it. They were. It was remarkable.
What's interesting right now is when you talk about blockchain, and that's a great thing that you bring that up, because that's what we have on our website right now. That's like the new big buzzword, right? Everyone's trying to figure it out and say, you know, is this going to be something that people really can get their arms around? Because we say nobody owns it, but really, are these businesses really going to get into it? Because it's kind of like saying gold, you know, or
exactly.
silver, you know.
But you've lived through this before. It was kind of like saying HTML.
Yeah.
You said, all right, so it was kind of like saying peer-to-peer networks. So we've seen so many revolutions from, is everybody going to buy a computer and have it in their house? Like, really? And Internet of Things, you know. So blockchain's just another way to create a business that is secure and personalized, but you can have access. You and I have a contract, so I can see the part of the blockchain that you allow me to see. It may be just the Peggy Smedley show. And people are re-architecting. And it's not just small companies. We're talking Overstock.com on the web, one of the biggest sites, going all blockchain. NASDAQ, blockchain startups. IBM, blockchain. And so it's going to involve re-architecting everything that companies have done. There are going to be a lot of kinks. There are going to be a lot of regulatory issues, but it'll keep us all gainfully employed forever, and I hope give us what bothers people, and I think stops them from adopting technology, is security and trust.
But that's an interesting point, because you have to, right now we don't have that regulatory, and that's the problem, because we say nobody owns it, but we've already seen a couple of these blockchains, when people think nobody owns it, then all of a sudden you find out somebody is controlling it, and there's always that dark side of it. Even though it started in the dark side, there's still somebody that's manipulated something, and you go, gosh darn it, you know, it's not supposed to be that way. And some people say it's going to be faster, but in some ways it's not faster.
No, because as you add to these chains,
it gets slower and slower. And then the problem is the whole idea of the energy it takes to run these things. Who's going to be able to maintain that? That is just sucking up a lot of power.
It is, and it's a real environmental problem. So they haven't solved a lot of this yet, but and would you be comfortable with somebody in Peoria or Des Moines, like, taking care of your financial records on a piece of their computer that, you know, using the processing
Better know
power?
that computer works, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of issues, but I am convinced that what we're starting to see is, I'm calling it like the next internet.
Yeah, I agree. So let's talk about, what have you seen out here? What's wowing you? You know, something taking your breath away? We know this whole world about autonomous vehicles is out there, but is there something else? I mean, everybody's talking about that, but are the, you know, this is what you do. You know, you live in those digital times right now. That's your buzz, but what's out there?
So for me, what I'm excited about, and I think autonomous cars will be great, especially for seniors who need to get around, and people in cities, and it's going to solve some of our transportation problems, and maybe more safe. But to me, the voice stuff this year, and you're only seeing more of it here, the fact that you can AI use your voice, the fact that whether it's Google Home Assistant or Alexa or Gabby or Angie or the others here, are these things that you don't need a screen and you don't need a keyboard. You take them out of the box, You put them down, they're connected to the internet, they're giving you a way to shop for food, shop for clothes, book your flight, get the news, and they only cost, what, $129 to $199 basically, and you are getting a serious amount of processing power, no keyboard, your voice. I think for older people, kids and like Alexa are like happy little clams. Kids are going like, "Oh, Alexa, buy me a pony." But so I think that is the beginning of what you're going to see as the Internet of Things becomes more normal in people's houses. Right now, they're probably using an Internet of Things and don't even know it, like a door lock,
right.
or a thermostat. But pretty soon they're all going to be connected and talking to each other also.
So this is my thing. I think 2018, we're going to see the big war for Google Home and Amazon Alexa. I think the big fight, because right now what we've got, if you look at this, I think we see Amazon really powered it with voice. They showed that we can get into the home this year, and it was a great thing. And we saw it. We're now seeing the buttons, and we're seeing all kinds of things happen. But I think Google is saying, look, we've been looking at the car side of this, but now we're going after the home. But now we're seeing Bixby. We're seeing Samsung saying we're going all these connected. I think there's going to be a power struggle coming out
now. Even Facebook, talking, making overtures. There is a power struggle, and unfortunately, every time that happens, that you have a closed system, consumers are confused. And the best one is payments. I mean, I use my mobile phone to pay when I can, but I get in a line. I don't know if they want me to swipe, tap, say magic words. And until they are all open to each other, and
it's not going to happen.
Apple was the first closed system, and they kept it that way. And they kind of, you get security, but you get frustration too. And we're seeing new payment devices like rings, and necklaces and watches that not just pay for your things, but let you in your office, let you access your computer.
Do you think that they're ever going to be open together? I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think they're all going to go in their direction, and you're going to have to pick. Am I going to go Google? Am I going to go Amazon? Am I going to go Apple? And you're going to have to make that decision. This is the path I'm going to go, because it seems like, I don't know that Amazon's going to play nice with Google, and they're just going to say, look, you're going to decide these are the products that are Amazon, these are the products that are Google, and you as the homeowner or you as the consumer say, this is what I want, and that's the path you go.
It's going to be really interesting, because I'm old enough to remember a little company called AT&T that was getting too powerful and monopolizing things.
Hey, we all remember Ma Bell.
Government stepped in, broke them up. Government did not step in and break IBM up, but they changed from being a hardware company to being an artificial intelligence company. My prediction, and this is way out there, is that one of these big ones is going to be divested and say, you know what, you're hurting innovation already. You don't have a chance to build a new product unless you build it in one of these ecosystems anymore. So either they're going to have to open up and embrace outsiders to take advantage of the system, or something else is going to happen.
Isn't that kind of what Google tried to do with Alphabet? They kind of said, we're kind of showing we're divesting in some ways, but not, but in their way of saying we kind of wanted to show that. But it's an interesting thing, because I think right now, all of these companies, we have not mastered interoperability with this in this industry. And I think we're seeing it. We can't do it on the home side so far, and we haven't. We could say we've got Zigbee and we've got Wi-Fi, but we've got certain standards that people have done that, but we still have a clear line. You are Zigbee, you are Wi-Fi, but we don't play nice together in the sandbox, and it's just not happening.
No. And as new standards emerge, you sit there, oh gosh, I bought this old thing. And that also makes you want to buy from a big brand that will be around, because you know they'll be around to support you and service you. So from when we started, this has gotten, you're right, just to be a very complicated, intertwined world of software and things. Good news for consumers is you buy a device today, it gets smarter every day. I mean, they send you an update with new powers and new things. So I think this Internet of Things actually is going to be one of the first things to sort itself out, because it's not that hard to get your thermostat to talk to your boiler, or get your car to talk to your gas pump, and it's going to be really interesting So I keep saying next year we'll just let our Internet of Things and our robots go to CES. We'll all be just staying home. I mean,
Well, the only other thing I think with all of this, that would be nice if that were true, but it's probably not because they all want to make
Yeah.
their money. But will the consumers get frustrated enough because we want to connect these things, but how many hubs do we have to have in our house to make it work? It's a hub here, hub there. I mean, we have to have our own servers. It's like our own data
Yeah.
center, and it's kind of frustrating that how many hubs do you have to have, because I want to have my Nest, and I want to have my Wink, and I want to have, you know, my Amazon Echo going, or whatever I want, Alexa or whatever it's going to be. And you know, after a while you go, how many of these do I have to have? And then they don't, you know, you have to
So-
reset them and all those other good things.
So we started a new show here this year. It'll take place on Thursday, tomorrow, and it's called High Tech Retailing. So my belief was, okay, you have 3,000 new product launches here at the show, but nobody, and you have cities that brick and mortar stores are drying up and malls are going out of business. So what if we investigated what does that look like? And you know, Walmart, Target, Beta, the new concept store, the stores are really trying to become experiences. So imagine if you could walk in and get information and try out a home system and see what it's like. Because once you do it, your life has changed. We have a second home. It's in New York. There's snow and snowpocalypses. But with my phone, I can monitor the house. I can change the heat. I can see how the oil fuel is doing. It has given me a level of comfort that was kind of worth the aggravation.
Right.
As your parents age, and as you age, I think that one of the things that's going to let you enjoy super quality of life longer is the Internet of Things that's going to look at your physical health, look at your mental health, help personalize for you the diet regimen, the drug regimen, the game regimen to keep your mind active. We saw Kohler here today with a shower so you don't burn yourself. You know, in hotels, you never know. When you walk into that
Right.
shower, what it's going to be like. So a lot of the new stuff, the best stuff, I think, will be transparent to you. You'll just say, turn my shower on and don't make it too hot. And eventually it'll learn about you, learn what you like. And it's really so much is going to happen because you're in proximity of a device. Devices are going to get smarter about, are you indoors, are you at work? Now, we've talked about these concepts, but they're really getting pretty good. I have Audible books, and it says, do you want to continue on your phone, your tablet, your car, like, you name it. I go,
Right.
oh, wow. And they know where my place is all the way.
And I think the interesting thing, it would be nice, we have to know how long it's going to take us to get there. I believe we're going to get there, but my question to that is, how long will it take the Kohlers of the world to work with the Amazons to make that work? Because you said a very important point. We have a population that's aging. We have a disabled
Yeah.
group that isn't going to be able to do these things. We have to help that community do that. They want that to be something they don't have to worry about. And they're just people who aren't tech savvy. It just should be, it's done for them. You plug
Right.
it in, it works, and it just happens.
But so much of that, so this year was a big year in the over-the-counter hearing aids. You don't have to go to a gazillion-dollar
Great point.
audiologist. You can buy something at a drugstore, bring it home, tune it with your app. Now, yes, an audiologist could come in and fine-tune it, but people who refuse to believe they had a hearing problem are now finding a way, even, you know, the noisy restaurant problem. So that, the PSAP, that piece of legislation, it's now actually okay to go buy an over-the-counter hearing aid. That has been fabulous, and I think will save, I think healthcare costs have to come down, and that's a really good way. Orcam is another product that we're showing that helps low vision people and sight impaired people. It identifies a visual object. It can tell you how much money you have in your hand. So yeah, you might use it at business for some reason, or shopping for some reason to read a price tag that you can't read, but you can also use it to give sight to the unsighted and let them navigate a world.
So it's almost like we have to have our consumers really working in tandem with the manufacturers so the products they bring to market make sense. Because I was talking about just before you came on that we have a lot of products that get introduced that never see the light of day.
Oh yeah.
And that's here at CES, and that's why, because they're really not communicating enough with all of us as consumers what really makes sense, and from a security perspective, from a logical perspective, which we are going to want to embrace, and then make sense
Right.
for what's going to work.
Well, yeah, and that plays into Silicon Valley is spreading out all over the world and is in this country, there are all of these great pockets of innovation now. And I think when they start listening to real people, when they start being inclusive, when they start being diverse, when they start realizing that there are various disabilities that they're going to have to compensate for, design's just going to get better. And it's not a just this is a low vision person. It's like we're all low vision persons at different times, and they're spending more time thinking about the user interface, more time thinking about how their product's going to act in a real world by and large. And the ones that don't are just like some engineer just built a product to make himself happy,
What's disappointed you so far? Anything, wish you wanted to see different? Because we've got an awful lot of square footage here, and every time I come here, this show gets bigger and bigger, and I go, besides being a fire hazard, I'm like, don't yell the word fire here, because
No, don't.
you can't even get through the halls here sometimes. It's just crazy big.
It is crazy big, but what a great place to see. I always say it's like the China Silk Road in history. You kind of wandered around with your camels all year looking at your
That's
little...
awesome.
And then you got to the bazaar, and you saw the whole world unfold. And you look at a car and say, well, they have that in their car, but what if I used it in a closet? And you get all these creative ideas. We do another thing called Young Innovators to Watch. Super dear to my heart. We started a foundation.
Oh, that's great.
We're allowed to bring a few kids, high schoolers, who have done things. And I got to tell you, we get hundreds of applications. These kids are doing things for early detection of wounds, early detection of amblyopia, RNA detection of early cancerous things. I'm like, I could cry when I read what is coming out of this next generation of problem solvers.
Isn't it amazing, the young minds? I think when we can help nurture that next generation, how innovative they can be is amazing, right? We've got to inspire them to want to continue to be innovative, because I think both the young girls who think they can't do it,
Right.
to the young boys who really are inspired to think they can contribute to this next evolution of technology that's just constantly changing.
And I have to say, you see the big companies, and they're great, and they're wonderful, but if you want to see amazing things, you go to Eureka Park over in the Sands, and it's like, blows your mind that young, struggling companies are just doing some of the most amazing things. Some of them will get bought by big companies. Some of them will get funded.
We all remember Oculus Rift, right? How that happened, right? That was an amazing one here, right?
Yep.
And those continue to happen, and those are just a great idea that really changed the industry, right?
That's right. And now everybody has a voice in that. I mean, on Kickstarter, on Indiegogo, we all have a voice. We can all iterate faster to make a product better. So there's a new store called Beta, B-A-T-A. They're in some Lowe's, they're in some Macy's, they have some of their own stores. But the whole idea is they give the data about the product back to the manufacturer, change the price, make the end cap different. So I think it's our job now as a maturing industry that everybody wants technology around them, is to make it easy and satisfy real people's needs.
We talk about healthcare. Are there products, you talked about hearing, are there other products so far that you've seen here that are really making a difference?
Yeah, so I think the monitoring systems for the aging are really pretty good, and there are a bunch of them now. But I think that baby temperature has become, you can wear, if your child's sick, you can now wear a device that just keeps constant control of their fever, so you're not worrying. You're seeing baby monitors go from room to room. You're seeing little bandages that can tell you if you're getting too much sun and stop you from a precancerous. Now you can go crazy also, but I swear, maybe I'm crazy, but I think the weight and the fitness level of people at CES has gone up.
You know what? And I tell you, those are the kind of things. Robin, I love having you on the show. I love when you come back every year. We got to keep doing this, right? We got to keep engaging and talking, right?
Right, not just here, but during the year.
All the year, we've got to keep it. So tell our listeners where they can go here to see what you're doing and where they can follow you online.
Okay, so Robin Raskin, you can go to livingindigitaltimes.com, and you can see all the various things we care about here, because we really care about making people's lives better through technology.
All right, well, we're out of time for this segment, but stick around. We've got more to come. As you know, this is the Peggy Smedley Show, the podcasting voice of IoT and relevant technology. And remember, with great technology comes great responsibility. We'll be right back after this break.